Hi guys, it's Richard from Bagnall and Kirkwood. So today we've got for you a BSA R12 CLX, and this one has got a leaking inlet valve. So we've taken the bottle off already, but when the bottle is on, you fill it up and the air is coming back out of here. So it's quite rare for it happening on R12 so far, but it's on the predecessor to this model, the R10, that was one of the common leak points. So what we're going to do, we're going to run through what you need to do on an R12 to solve that. So as always, I'll put a link in the description of the parts. We've got them on our website. We're starting to get more and more R12 parts in the stock as standard. But today we're going to use our R12 O-ring pack. And we're just going to use our old Molykote grease as always, proper 111. So first what we're going to do is we're going to remove this toaster rack here. So that's just held on with an Allen key. Would help if I had my long handle ones, but they're upstairs at the moment. So we've got that bolt out there, and on this one the rack has just came nice and easy. Sometimes these are a little bit tight, you just have to pull it and it will come off. Next, what we're going to do is remove the retaining nut here, which is on the bottom, or screw. So you just need a suitable screwdriver. This isn't tapered, so you want something that's flat blade, good fitting in there. There we go. So we've removed that. On there's a bonded washer, we're just going to reuse that. So pop that down there. Next, we'll remove this bit off the front. So this one I can see is already quite loose, but sometimes it takes, you do need to put an adjusty spanner on there to take that one off. So this is the bottle connector. Again, also available as a spare. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to remove this one, which is the threaded retainer. I'm just going to use an adjusty spanner to nip onto that. There we go. See, there's the threaded retainer and the O-ring. And in there, in the bottom, we've got a ball bearing, which I can see there, and an O-ring. So the ball bearing is already loose. There we go. Ball bearing and the O-ring. So we're just going to get that out using a pick carefully. There we go, the O-ring. So inside the thread retainer, give it a little poke. Somebody just doesn't want to come out, so you can go that way, push through. In here, what you're going to find is the spring and the spring guide and a bit of grease there. So as they get older, this is one of the parts that sort of seizes up and starts to get damaged in here. So we do get people will want to be replacing these spring guides, the spring and the thread retainer, especially if you don't remove that screw from underneath first, you'll wreck this threaded retainer. So that's available as a spare. The fill valve O-ring kit that you get, it's a double pack, so there is enough to do it twice. So what we can do is go through and replace each one. So I'm just going to remove this one off the thread retainer. Again, as always, spiking the rubber, not scratching the threads or anything like that. So you can see there how I spiked the rubber. That one didn't catch much of the O-ring. There we go, and then pull it off or snap it off, whatever you fancy doing. I'm going to go for the snapping route. There we go. So that's a new one there. The inlet valve O-ring, you can see this one is a bit squashed, so we're going to replace with one of the new ones. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some of our Molykote grease and we're going to rub it on that O-ring, replace it onto there. Come on. Bit tricky to get over the threads. Especially when your hands are greasy. There we go, that one's on. And we're going to take the other one, give it a bit of grease. Not too much, don't want any in the middle. And we're going to pop that one back in the bottom of here on the rifle. And we're just going to make sure that's properly seated. So we're just going to use something just to push that down to the bottom. Make sure that's flat. Pop the ball bearing back in. Drop that, make sure it's in the middle. Going to pop the spring first into here and then the spring guide sitting out. So I'm just going to pop them back in. As you see, screw this one back up. Then we're going to go for the big one. Oh, need to change that O-ring, forgot to do that. So we can just pull that off there. And replace that with one of these ones, just double checking it's right. Bit of moly grease on there. There we go. So we're going to pop this back in, screw in. And then as we get down towards the bottom, I'm going to make sure that plastic collar sits on the bottom one, which it already has there. Then as we get towards the end, you're going to have to make sure that the toaster will go on, so it'll only go on if one of those nut bits is facing up. Sorry, I was just pulled away for a phone call there. So as I was saying, this is the toaster rack, so you want to make sure that'll line up. So this bit here has to be facing straight up and straight down, with one of the big bits towards the top. So you might need to slightly screw in or screw out. So in this case, just had to adjust there slightly, and you can see how it'll line up. So we'll go into that space. So we'll just put that toaster rack back on with the retaining bolt. So all that's left is just to pop the retainer screw back in. So we've already got the washer on there, and we'll just screw this in. Just give it a nice nip. There we go. So that's it sorted. We'll pop the bottle back on, we'll put it on a 24-hour leak test, and we'll make sure everything's fine with it. So as always, put a link to everything below. If you need any help, just ping us an email at any point, and we'll hopefully see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.